Hey everyone, my name is Yusuf Ali, aka The Graphic Novelist, and welcome back to another episode of Tips and Tricks for the Everyday Designer. In this video, we're going to be discussing how to correctly prepare your book for print. And to do this, we need to understand how to impose pages on InDesign. But before we do any of that, we need to address the elephant in the room. I'm blonde now. I'm him. Okay, jokes aside, the first thing we need to understand is what is imposing. To simply put it, imposition is a method of laying out your pages so that they correspond with each other when being assembled or bound as a book. The first thing that you need to check off is that your total amount of pages can be divided by 4. This is to counter blank pages or excess spreads that could ruin the entire layout of your book, so always try to keep things as multiples of 4. The next thing you need to know is the layout of your graphic or text on your pages. Imposing has quite a tricky layout structure, but with the use of scripts on InDesign, you can easily automate this process. But for the pursuit of knowledge, let's break it down. Initially, you'll have an InDesign document or a PDF that's laid out numerically from pages 1 to 8. Everything goes together and sometimes text and graphics can run over spreads. However, when arranging these pages on InDesign for print, we need to impose them. So your layout will transform from this into this. The reason for this is that when printing, your print operator will be printing as duplex on spreads. That means that pages will be adjacent to each other on a single spread. The print operator does this so that it's easier to organize and bind pages in the assembly stage. For further explanation, let's break it down visually. Okay, so if your InDesign document looks like this, with pages 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 laid out like this, where 2 and 3 form a spread, with graphics and design that run over each other, we need to find a way to lay it out into a book format where those pages will touch each other. So what I like to do is count the number of pages. There's 8 pages. Divided by 4 gives me the number 2. Therefore, there will be 2 physical A3 spreads, basically pages that are going to need to be used in this process when they're printing it. So I get those, my mock-up, and I fold it together to make an actual book. Then what I do is I take a pen, put the numbers, page 1 is on page 1, flip the page 2, page 3, same thing again, page 4 and 5, as the design runs through, page 6 and 7, because those are designed as a spread, page 8, our final page. You can see all the pages have been written down on paper as a spread. See, 2 and 3 are next to each other, 4 and 5 are next to each other, 6 and 7 are next to each other, 8 is alone. Now, to reposition them on the InDesign document, you need to look at it this way, as a flat page, as the spread that's going to be printed. So we'll mark it down. Our first spread done in InDesign needs to be pages 8 and pages 1. Our second spread needs to be pages 2 and pages 7. This is because the paper that's going to be printed at the printer is going to be done as a duplex, which means the front and the back side of the page is going to be printed. The next number that we need to do is pages 6 and 3. That will be our next layout on InDesign. Page 6, page 3. And finally, our last spread that we need to put the design on is 4 and 5. This is how the design of your new InDesign layout needs to look. Pages 8 and 1 as a spread, 2 and 7 as a spread, 6 and 3 as a spread, and 4 and 5 as a spread. So that when they all come together, they form the finished book that can be assembled by the assembler. That is the paper method. If you don't use scripts on InDesign, you can always use the paper method to check your designs for print. Well, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys found it helpful. And if you enjoyed today's episode, hit that like button. And if you haven't, subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to upload more videos like this and newer content in the future. Just let me know what you guys want to see down in the comments below. That's it from me, and stay creative.